I think the personalist tradition is an antidote to the selflessness of our society. And by selfless, I don't mean generous. I mean, we don't have an understanding of who we are. So many people don't know why they matter. They don't know why it's good that they exist. And personalism really provides a content for us to appreciate the value of ourselves and the value that we have towards other people, towards God, towards the whole created order. And this is an answer that nobody has right now. And personalism provides this.
With the rise of social media, one of the things that we see is that people don't really know how to talk to each other anymore, and they're not interested necessarily in listening to somebody else and caring about them and who they are as a person. When I talked to John F. Crosby during our office hours, and then even when I would interact with him in the Q&As, I just felt so understood. I felt that he really cared about what it was that I was seeing and that he was looking at the same thing with me. And I think that that comes from his being steeped in the personalist tradition. I think that that's an example of the philosophy and theory being played out in practice.
In my experience of teaching, I've seen time and time again that what students respond to is not just vague philosophical concepts, but it's the material, the content of the works presented in a way where they can see that it clearly affects them. In fact, it answers a question that they already had and they may not have known how to parse already. So the way of doing philosophy that the Hildebrand Project shows, that the Hildebrand Project puts into practice, is one where personal questions are met and they are addressed in a way that is not stiff, it's not hyper-academic, but it's by no means non-intellectual. There's great academic prowess here, but in a way that's well fit to the actual persons doing that academic work.
So a day at the residency starts with breakfast, where we get to talk and eat with everybody at the conference. And one of my favorite things about the Hildebrand Project is that you can talk to anybody, no matter the rank, no matter the experience. And then we go into presentations, we go into talking about our papers and getting real honest, but also like charitable and really helpful feedback to make our papers better, to get our ideas out there.
As part of the residency, we went to the house of John Henry Crosby, and it was probably the highlight of the residency so far. We all gathered in the living room and we heard some liturgical reflections that Hildebrand wrote decades ago. This was the first time that they'd been publicly read since their original production. And the reflections were beautiful, but as I looked around the room, I could see that everyone was engaged in this common pursuit, and there was fellowship, and I could see Dr. Seifert on one couch and Dr. Crosby on the other side of the room, and it was just really refreshing to be in a community, and I was really grateful to be a part of it.
One of the most valuable aspects of the residency are the office hours. I had a chance to discuss my master thesis proposal on Viktor Frankl with two people who knew him and met him personally, and had the discussions on things I find difficult or interesting with him in person.
Although the teachings of Hildebrand have perennial value, I think that something which makes them particularly valuable today is their relevance to issues regarding sex and gender, and the positive vision that he and Edith Stein and others associated with him offer is something that's difficult to find in the wider culture, and is something that people are longing for without maybe even knowing that they want it.
I'm so grateful for this opportunity because the personalist tradition is the answer to the lack of community that we're seeing. And here at the Hildebrand Project, this is the forefront of personalism. This is the forefront of Hildebrand studies. And we are beginning to build a community, and we're beginning to communicate with people and show them really the value of the person, both in theory but also in practice.